Hello, my name is Frankie Rodriguez. This presentation is for MBA 840 through the University of Concordia, Wisconsin. It is my final research paper topic, and the title of this presentation is The Financial Decisions That Follow Graduation. Living away at college can be similar to living in a bubble, where the primary and sometimes only focus in life is on school and getting good grades. It's easy to become disconnected from the real world of finances and not have to worry about real professional adult problems or circumstances. Yet. However, once one graduates from college, they're thrust back into the real world and immediately faced with these problems. Decisions such as paying off student loans, moving into your own place, and starting a savings account and investing for the future are these major life choices. These decisions can weigh heavy on anyone, especially a recent college graduate that doesn't have a lot of experience in this type of stuff. Student loans are a major financial aspect and sometimes a burden in a lot of people's lives after graduation. Student loan debt can extend extremely high and sometimes into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, which can be extremely overwhelming and daunting. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Education traditionally distributed over $134 billion of student loans each year. One of the best strategies that has been working for me thus far is to develop a financial timeline plan to pay off my student loans in increments. Typically, the first objective out of college is to find a job and ultimately a career that you love and pays you well. When one finds a job, a steady income can be reached and loan payments can become the next step. A major and vital aspect that I learned about in accounting is present and future value of money. Understanding the value and calculations can be extremely beneficial for new graduates when determining how quickly they should pay off their student loan versus making long-term smaller payments or that chip away at the principal loan and can take years to even begin to see a significant decrease in the principal. Present value is the economical value of a monetary unit at the present time or after the future value is reduced to an earlier time period evaluation. Future value is the value of a monetary unit at a later time after it is affected by depreciation or inflation or other variables. To determine a single sum of money that one would need to save now in order to pay off a certain amount of student loans in a set time frame, this equation would be used. P represents the principal amount one would need and the variable that you will be solving for in this case. N represents the time frame and the number of years one would want to pay off the student loan in. I represents the interest rate. For example, if a new college graduate just got a well-paying job and wanted to pay off their $80,000 loan at an interest rate of 11% compounded annually in 5 years from today, they would need to put away $47,476 into their savings account today in order to have enough money to cover the student debt in 5 years. Another example of determining how much money to put towards a loan in the future would be to use a future value of ordinary annuity equation. This equation is shown here. A would be the amount saved at the end of the term. R would represent the amount deposited or saved away each term. N is the time in years, and I would once again be the percent interest rate. For example, if a new college graduate wants to take a year off from the workforce and travel their first year, they can decide to get a job 1 year from graduation in order to fulfill and live out their dream. This future value equation could be used here because we want to determine how much they would have at the end of the time period if they wanted to save money 1 year from now after they returned. Let's say the former student feels comfortable that they will be able to save $10,000 each year for 5 years with a 5% interest rate. This equation would work out to A equals 1,000 in parentheses 5.52563 after you plugged in numbers and looked up the values in the future value chart. This would equal out to $55,256.30 at the end of the 5 years of savings. If the loan is higher than that, the student will need to reconsider how much they plan to save each year in order to hit their valuation in the amount of time that they gave themselves. Paying off student loans can be a bit of a maze for new college graduates. It takes some planning like I did. Here are your simplified steps. Graduate, make a plan to pay off these loans, get a job, and execute. Start paying them off. Another difficult decision for new graduates to make is whether or not to get their own place after college. There can be many variables that affect this choice, which include spouses, relationships with parents or family, and job and financial security. Setting a budget, sticking to it, and living within one's means is fundamental due to all the random expenses that can arise for a new graduate. About 70% of college graduates that earn a 4-year degree leave college with student loan debt in excess of $25,000. The Federal Reserve declared that the student debt total is roughly around $1.4 trillion. Education has been found to increase the likelihood of starting and keeping a savings account. Savings account can work twofold, as it builds money for you to use in the long term and or immediate, and also allows you to put money away so that it is not easily spent on non-essentials. Determining how much money to save in order to pay off a student loan is a serious balancing act that one can use the future value equation for. If one is lucky enough to get hired on for a company or firm that provides a 401k plan and matches or contributes towards it, this equation is great to use to devise a plan for retirement. When saving for retirement, choosing the best retirement plans that firm can offer is one of the major keys for reaching financial success. A 401k plan is a smart decision for young aspiring workers who are new to the workforce, and this can complement a traditional savings account perfectly. It works similar to a savings account in the sense that you allocate a percentage of your paycheck to be deposited into this account. This savings is pre-tax, and oftentimes companies can contribute or match this contribution. Having this 401k plan or separate savings account can be a financial safety net for the future that ultimately grows money for one to use when they are ready to retire. For example, you plan to have the capability to deposit $6,631 into the 401k account each year and desire to have $500,000 in 40 years. The future value equation would be used here, and you would be solving for I because it represents the interest rate from the banks that you would be looking for in order to reach your goal. A equals R, parentheses, AN separated by I, with the values plugged in, would be shown as 500,000 equals 6,631 in parentheses, A40 separated by I in this equation would equal 3% once you solve for the math, and is determined by dividing 500,000 by 631 and looking at the future value amount on an ordinary annuity chart. Once you find where 75.403 is on this chart for 40 years, you would follow that chart up and find the interest rate that corresponds to this. At this rate, the amount deposited each year, one can reach their $500,000 goal and retire with the amount of money that they planned for successfully. Paying off student loans, starting a savings account and a 401k investment plan, and moving into a new apartment or home are all major decisions that new college graduates face and struggle with each year. I believe that saving money, investing intelligently, and educating yourself on financial responsibility are all fundamental aspects of being successful in the future after graduating from college. Thank you very much.